Welcome back to another pen talk. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for following me on my PENBBS journey. Previous pen I did was the Vermouth 456. And in that same Etsy order, I got this pen, a 469 in the 99 finish. We'll give you a translation of that bottom line, which is a little bit different now. And they also have this number here, a 7-digit number, which I first saw show up on the pen rest. You slide off the sleeve, we see the box, standard PENBBS box, magnetic clip, and obviously I ordered from Etsy. It's been in these little cat sticker. They're just so cute. You get a syringe to fill it because it's eyedropper only, and a roller ball insert if you want to change one side to roller ball. The pen came in a little matte plastic sleeve, but we've taken that off. And here's the pen. And I have to admit that resin, again, I'm just amazed about what PENBBS has been doing with these resins. How many more varieties can they have? So this is a dense ribbon pattern with a red ribbon in it. We just unscrew the cap, and we'll see with all the 469s a section of the same material. And this is your standard nib in fine. But what was nice about this, which is the first time I've seen it, if you flip it around to the other side and take the cap off, you'll notice it's a new medium nib, the rounded medium. So that's going to play into the different inks that I'll put in this pen. Obviously one side will be red. I already have the inks picked out, so we'll show you the inks. We've cleaned this pen already, so we're ready to eyedropper it, ink it, and we'll show you how these two different nibs work in this type of pen. And before we go, I also want to show you that I've done my adjusting, so if you use it with both caps off, those nibs align, so the OCD in me is happy. This is the pen disassembled to the most part. These are the three pieces that you're generally going to be working with, the two caps and this one barrel with two ink chambers. For this section, I pulled the nib and feed out, and on this one, I just unscrewed it, just to show you the difference between the two and show you how they fit together. You have to be careful with this nib assembly that has two O-rings, one here by the threads at the top and one near the bottom. And I will put some grease on those threads and those O-rings. I've also greased this O-ring and these threads in both of these sections. And to me, PENBBS has been very good at putting the O-ring here to keep the ink away from the threads, because I think that just makes the demonstrator look so much nicer. Let's explore this resin a little bit more. I'm going to put the LED light on top. I mean, this is a very dense, very consistent ribbon pattern. It's the same type of thing they put in the smog, but that's white. Hopefully this lets you see a little bit more of how those ribbons are distributed. As my light blinks on and off, kind of give it that strobe effect. But I just impressed, as I've been with almost every PENBBS resin. They're just nicely done. Visually very interesting, mechanically extremely well machined, beautiful writing instrument. So you may ask, Chris, how many 469s do you have? And the answer is 4. And I think I've fulfilled my 469 needs with these 4 different pens. Here's the one we're focusing on in this video. Here's 2 other ones I picked up basically because I thought the resin was really beautiful, and of course amber speaks for itself. I just have been always amazed and astounded with the quality of the resins that PENBBS uses. And this design is so unique and so again, geared towards writing, and it took me a while to work this design into my daily writing, but now I don't know how I would do without it. So hopefully you've enjoyed looking at these. I've decided on these two inks. One side will get Alpha Centauri, which I have in a couple other PENBBS pens. I'm extremely pleased with it. And the other one will get Solar Storm, which is a pretty decent ink in the red family. I think these inks are great values. You can get them on the Nemosine website. You can get them from Birmingham Pens. The price is excellent. And we'll take a quick look at the bottle. Here are the bottles. I just think they're very well made, very solid. And for the price of this ink, a very good bargain. Yes, I had to use some Scotch tape to keep the label. It didn't quite stick as it should on the end. You know, they're 35 millimeter. They're not a lot, but I think 35 millimeters is enough for you to get into an ink. And then if you want more, you can buy it. And for this price, you don't have a lot of money expended to give the ink a try. Here's my color called on the Alpha Centauri. It's really in the purple family. And you do get some sheen there from the blog I laid down. The chromatography is quite interesting. Certainly on the blue side of purple, but it does have some other things going on, and it looks like a little bit of ink resistance there based on the chromatography. Solar Storm's on the orange side of red, or we may even call this an orange ink. Hard for me to make that distinction. The chromatography is also nice and clean, single color there, and no water resistance as we can see. Well, the 469 certainly looks good in the pen rest. Doesn't match, but contrasting colors sometimes look nice. I just find this being filled with ink to just be a very, very nice visual impact. And the way that center piece kind of works as a magnifier and everything else. It's just a great pen. So it does not post. So we're going to start with the fine standard nib first. As you can see, it's a good sized pen. It fits extremely well in the hand. And if you wanted to use it with both uncapped, it'll work that way too. And you can flip it around, which I've done on occasion. The nib will pretty much write okay for, maybe 3 or 4 minutes with just letting it be exposed. But you can't let it be exposed for 5 or 10 minutes because then you're going to get a pretty hard start. So put the cap on if you're not going to write with these pretty regularly on both nibs. I mean, this is an excellent fine nib. This reminds me of some of the earlier nibs that I had on my 308s that just write well. Great flow, very consistent. It's not something you're going to get any line variation out of. You get a little bit more ink flow if you put some pressure on it, but it's not a nib that encourages that. This is a nib for writing with, taking notes, writing for long periods of time. It works well for that. And this ink actually looks a lot more purplish than it has in other pens that I put it in, so I'm impressed with that. The red ink is with this medium nib, which I've also grown very fond of. And I particularly wanted this ink in this pen because I thought it would work very well, and I'm not disappointed. I mean, this is not a heavy dark color. It's actually quite a light color, but in this nib it works well. And I think that's a good combo between these two. Both of these are Nemosine inks, as we saw. And this one has some very nice shading in it. And this nib is also very smooth. And I'm just impressed. This is one of the best ink nib combos I've done in a while. And the other thing, once I filled this with ink and screwed the section back in, it wrote almost right away, which is very unusual for eyedroppers. I've had eyedroppers take a minute or two to the ink to work through to the nib so you could actually write with them. So I'm impressed with that. So let's rate this double-sided pen. And I'm going up to a 9.8 and 3 checks. That's my highest rating so far. This medium nib is beautiful. The way it lays down ink is great. The way it feels comfortable in the hand. You know, you don't feel those threads. There's a step up, but you really don't feel that. So you can pretty much hold it anywhere. And as you know, I like to move my fingers around, so I like a section that allows that. So I'm just very, very happy with this new 469 that I have. So that's the end of this video now. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed another look at another PENBBS pen. I do have a few. And I probably will have more. I have 2 ambers on the way. So we've reached the end of this video. Enjoy all your writing experiences. Enjoy putting ink on paper and try something. This is an ink that I didn't think I'd like as much as I do. So that's great. So bye for now. Until the next video. This works very, very well.